Hey everyone, so I get a lot of questions about these hydro flask bottles. I've got one here. I went and bought one of these things to check it out. So if we look down in the cup holder area where my insert would fit, we see these 6 tabs. And I've configured these things so that there's these, locking bars on the bottom that lock into these tabs. Now, with a normal size Yeti, cup, whatever, and no insert, they don't serve any purpose at all. So I went and got one of these hydro flask things, and what I found is that when you put the hydro flask in, it actually locks into these 2 tabs on the side. Pretty perfect. Like, it's in there pretty tight. It's not going anywhere. Same thing on the driver's side. You can see it engages the 2 tabs on the driver's side pretty good, holds it pretty well. So the problem with that is that anything that I'm going to make has going to have to, my product already locks into those tabs, but when you put the hydro flask in, it touches those tabs, so I'm going to have to work around it, which is no problem. But the thing I'm getting at is that the insert's not really going to do much to hold the cup in place. Those tabs in the bottom of the console actually hold the cup pretty well. Any circle that I'm going to make to hold the hydro flask is really not going to engage the hydro flask because of the concentricity between the hole versus the concentricity of my insert to the hydro flask. So I've got one made up here. And you can see it's got a bigger hole on one side, and this hole's way too big. I'm going to make another one that's a little bit smaller. And when I drop the hydro flask in, it looks like it's doing something. It definitely fits in the hole, but what's really going on is the hydro flask is locking into these tabs down here, and my product's really not doing anything. You can see the gap all the way around, which is fine, and I can make one that's a little smaller. So really, if I were to make a hydro flask version of this, what it's going to really be is a cosmetic thing, because the tabs in the console actually do the job already. I could punch a hole in the insert, but the insert's not going to be what's going to be grabbing the hydro flask. It's going to be the tabs in the console. I mean, maybe if you're really, really going off-road and you hit one hell of a bump or something and the thing tries to move, my insert will catch it. But really, the job's being done by the console here. So I'll go ahead and I'll revise this to get this hole a little bit smaller, mostly just for aesthetic reasons, so we can thicken up some of these areas here where the material's a little bit thin. And we'll go from there and see if anyone's interested. The thing's already kind of a compromise. As you can see, I had to shorten it quite a bit just to be able to get a hole that big in it. I'll be able to add a little more material back when I make that hole a little smaller. But that's the situation with these. I had a lot of questions about it, so I figured I'd make a video. It explains it a lot better than I can in words. Thanks.